Hey guys, it's Nate, aka the Foot Accountant. Welcome back to the channel. FC26 has been a year of the community, as EA's been telling us. The club is yours. You wanted it, you got it. Those are some of the taglines that they keep using. And yes, it has brought some really good changes to this game in gameplay and in terms of content. But of course, there are things that haven't gone well. I think top of that list would be evolutions, and second on that list would be the market. And based on what EA said in my interview with them and other creators' interviews, is that they wanted to decrease the market volatility as a byproduct of slowing down the power curve this year. Well, that hasn't really happened to some degree, but EA's going to make an announcement about it. That is very unlike EA, but this is kind of the new EA with the FC26 feedback era. I'm very curious, and that's what I want to talk about a bit today, because that was one of the biggest pieces of news that we had yesterday with Ratings Reload Team number 2. Now, as well, we've got some big leaks and some big content to discuss, and a little bit of market to discuss as well. If you guys are excited for it, drop a thumbs up on the video, hype the video, and subscribe if you're new. Now, before we get into all that conversation, let's go over yesterday's Promo Friday Ratings Reload Team 2 content. First of all, we have a new objective player in Jorge de Frutos, a little La Liga right mid. Complete 4 of these 5 objectives here, and you get yourself your 83 rated de Frutos card. I actually don't think I've even seen this card. He's 4-star, 4-star, 5'8", can play on the right and the left. Looks decent and has decent playstyles. Okay, winger plus plus is maybe not as good as inside forward, but that's not too shabby. Also, yesterday was the final refresh. Take note of this, guys. The final refresh of the weekly play objective. Just kidding, there's going to be one more. It's not the final one, but this is the final week. If you've been keeping up with all the weeks, you'll be able to finish off this weekly play objective, get an 83x2 and an 84 plus pack there. So that's the first week it can be completed. I guess it's not the last week. You have next week as well if you missed something in there. But of course, this should be some of the last SP that we need for this season, as most of us probably are nearing the end towards that level 40 chase. Now, before we go to evolutions, where the best content was yesterday, let's go to SBCs. We started off with the SBC we were expecting, Joao Pedro, and this is once again a good card. 4-star, 4-star. He's got striker, he's got cam. The stats look really solid. Great dribbling, shooting, and pace. Very important things for a striker in this game for sure. Passing isn't even that bad. He's got the rapid, press-proven power shot and finesse. I just feel like this card in game might be better than I feel like I'm giving him credit for right now. I have not used his item. I don't know how good he is. Would I do this SBC though for a price of around 100,000 coins? It's only 3 squads and it's not bad, but I just think with what's upcoming, I kind of want to save my fodder. 84, 85, 86. Like we said, Arda Güler last week spoiled us. That was so good, and it's going to be really tough to top that. And I don't think this Joao Pedro does, but I also don't think it's that bad. And maybe 75% downvotes is a little bit over the top in terms of, the negative sentiment on this card. I do think there's a time and place for him, but I also think that a lot of our strikers that you might have in your team right now are better than this, and that's why this one doesn't appeal to most for fodder. Now, also yesterday we had the Team of the Week upgrade refreshed every single Friday, as we do, and a small Prime Electrum Players Pack for Ratings Reload Challenge number 3. That was it for SBCs. Like, yesterday didn't feel like a crazy content day in every part of the game, except for evolutions. Evos, there was a crazy one. Now, we didn't mention anything about this Evo in yesterday's video because I had no idea that there were leaks going on, but I could have taken a look at the market and figured out that there were leaks being kind of known, and the community was getting leaks without them being posted on Twitter, because these were not posted until yesterday on Friday before the content drop, but the market was already moving on Thursday for the Born to Shine evolution. This was touted as actually the best Evo of FC26, and I don't think it's bad. I like it. I really do. This is a good Evo, but I also don't know if it's like OMG insane awesome. I just like how the stat boosts are pretty big, and I like how the stat limits are pretty high. It's only 25,000 coins. It gives 2 very good playstyles. It gives low driven shot first, and then it gives first touch. The problem is playstyles only go up to 4. So for a lot of players you want to Evo in this, you probably already have at least 3 playstyles on them, so you don't get both the first touch and the low driven. So for Matisse Tell, he ends up getting both because he doesn't have any before that. So finesse, low driven, and the first touch there. But it's the stat boost, right? The pace gets boosted up only up to 85, but it's the shooting, passing, and dribbling boost that really make this Evo, I think, worth 25,000 coins. Like, again, I'll go out and say I do believe this is worth 25,000 coins, especially look at the overall rating. The stats on that Gabriel Jesus, 86 dribble, 84 shooting, and 85 pace. That looks like a nice 84 rated card. It doesn't feel like the overall is a way higher than the stats on the card. Now, obviously, the most hyped man for this Evo is Marcus Rashford, and his price was going crazy yesterday because he was leaked to be in the evolution. Everybody was buying him up. It was a crazy, crazy thing. And we were saying as we got on the stream, I even tweeted about it as I was coming home from Michigan yesterday. I said, sell in the hype, guys, because anytime a card goes from 7,000 coins, where he was on Thursday, this is where we saw the price move on Rashford first. It's kind of like, okay, something's going on there with strikers or left wings, right? And then yesterday he went from 12,000 coins up to 27. Like, that's a absolute definite sell in the hype. When a card goes from 6K up to 24, please sell that card in the hype. Now, obviously, Rashford's come back down. He went to 14K. He's back up to 20 right now. There's a lot of people that are doing this evolution for Rashford. I do believe he is kind of far and above most of the rest of the cards that are in this because of the 5-star skills, because of the playstyles that you can give him. This Rutero card looks really good too, and Tekka, Endrick. I don't think there's a bad player that you could put into this Born to Shine Evo. And actually, if I was to suggest a type of player, if you're struggling for who to put into this, don't sleep on silvers, because they don't get their stats boosted in terms of the overall rated. Like, this Morgan card went from a silver up to an 81 rated, but look at the stats. His stats hit the limits. Incisive, finesse, low driven, and rapid. That's a sick card. Now, he's got the 4-star skills and the 5-star weak foot already. Maybe that's not a nation or a club that interests you there in the MLS, but like, don't sleep on silvers for this, because you could actually create some really, really insane chain Evos with some of them that are already out, and then putting them into this Born to Shine evolution. There's a lot of potential there. So if there's nobody for you right now that's like, I gotta put him into this Evo, then just wait a bit. Like, there's a lot of options in this one, and it is a very, very good Evo. I don't know if it's the best Evo of the year. It's up there. Like, the backline glow was good. Midfield spark was good. It's definitely up there, but I think that also goes to show how Evos just haven't quite been the same. And we know they haven't been, and I'm really curious to what EA is going to say about that, and we're going to talk about that again in a second. But also yesterday, we had the right back, fullback force 2, which is just like the left back. It gives fullback plus, gives some stat upgrades, and it keeps the overall rating the same, which is very nice. Now, the last part of yesterday's content was Team 2 of Ratings Reload, and I still think Team 1 is clear, but I don't think that it's a terrible team. Now, as you're looking at these prices right now, you're seeing that they have come down a lot from where they were yesterday at the Friday promo drop. I bought Szoboszlai for 267,000 coins, sold him for just over 300K, and now he's back down to like 170,000. You guys know the drill. It's the third week of new promo teams getting released. What's probably going to happen today is these cards will rise back up just a little bit into Saturday morning as people get on, play Foot Champs, get games in, try out the new players, and then they will drop after content for, whoa, that was a 150,000 coin Szoboszlai right there. Can I pick that up? Yo, the late night snipes. That was very lucky. I'm going to list that up right now for 179K and take the profit. But stuff like that is what I do on the market today, by the way. If you're going to trade, just do the quick flips, just do the snipes, the bids. We'll talk about some other investing opportunities later on in the video. But I'm even invested right now. I bought a Messi for a 1.2 mil. And I'm not expecting to hold on to this Messi card for that long. Oh my gosh, man. Look at that. There's another one. That's crazy. The Messi at 1.19. The next one's 1.3. What I'm hoping to do is sell this Messi for right around 1.33, somewhere right underneath this card, and take the quick flip. That's probably what I'm going to do on these. Do not hold these cards super long today. Now, one thing I want to mention with this promo team and what's going on with prices right now, before we talk too much about the market, is this is a part of yesterday's content, of course. They dropped 100K packs in the store yesterday. First of all, before we get to the 100K packs, this Ratings Reload Week 2 Nano Pack that is 6,750 coins, more importantly, 50 FC points. If you were stuck with 50 FC points like I was and you didn't want to see them up there and they were annoying you, then this pack is perfect to take those 50 points off your hands. I didn't get anything from it yesterday, but finally, I don't have 50 random FC points sitting up there, so I loved that. But yesterday, EA dropped 100K packs again, and I saw a lot of people tweeting about, oh, how EA is so scummy. They dropped 100K packs. It's going to absolutely destroy the market. Guys, I understand dropping 100K packs are the biggest pack so far, tradable wise in the game, and we have a bad taste in our mouth with how the 100K packs went during the very early part of the year, that first weekend. The market now is not the same market that it was then. We've gone through 2 weekend leagues. This is the 3rd weekend league now. Prices yesterday after the content drop with those 100K packs did not crash at all. Like, the packs are going to level up as we go on throughout the year, because if we only have 100K packs in the store during team of the year, that's what it used to be back in the old days in old FIFAs, but that's not how EA do it anymore, right? The packs get bigger and better, and there's cooler ones and stuff like that. So just as the power curve increases, those store packs are going to increase as well. And really, the 100K packs, like I mentioned, didn't impact much at all, really, yesterday. Weekend League Rewards has a much bigger impact in the market. This is the index icon, but I think this shows really the best picture of how most meta cards, like your Reinders, your De Jong, your not Inaki Williams, but Nico Williams, Lamine Yamal. This is how prices moved yesterday. There were some drops heading into the content. Prices dipped. Then we had a low point just after, 20 minutes after the content drop. Maybe some people opening those 100K packs, and maybe there's a little bit of supply in the market there. But also the 25,000 coin Evo, people getting some coins for that, and for the SBC card, Joao Pedro. And then you see the Friday night bubble. And there was still a Friday night bubble that was really good to trade with yesterday, guys. It was really good. It was maybe better than I thought it was going to be. We'll look at some prices in a second that moved up well. But of course, you have weekend league rewards that start to supply the market, and prices have gone down a lot. Let's take a look at a player like De Jong. This is a great example. One of the most hyped midfielders in the game right now, of course. Yesterday before content, especially on De Jong and Reinders, there was a bit of extra panic selling right before the content drop, because I think people expected Busquets would maybe be releasing. And since Busquets did not drop, and we kind of knew he wasn't, because one of the leakers tweeted out a Brazilian flag, which would be the Joao Pedro SBC, right? These guys rebounded back like crazy. So De Jong went from 150 to 170,000 coins. He's back down to 150. Reinders went from 83K almost up to 100,000 coins. And again, if we could take a look at the Nico Williams card too, most of these mid to high tier meta cards that most people are looking for their teams, they were dropping yesterday pre-content. We had a nice bubble, and now we are even lower. Now, as we would expect into today on Saturday, what you probably want to do is, as I was talking about, sell those cards before the content drop, take the cash, and then look to reinvest, or maybe buy a couple cards for trades before squad battle rewards. But still, probably we're going to see prices drop a little bit more tonight, of course, on Saturday, and then tomorrow on Sunday as well. The ratings reload team 1 did not do that great. Like, I flipped the Alvarez, that was fine. Olise is now down below 260 where he was. Some of them are still holding price fine, like Eze, Ekitike. Kubarsi is still 85K. I'll be a little careful with Kubarsi today, though, with one of the leaked SBC pairings that is out there. You can see Samba Parluelo is a little bit low. But if you want to trade today on Saturday, what I would tell you to do is, if it's early when you're watching this video, take a look at some of the gold cards, because I do believe some of them can still rebound back up for a little bit of a rise today before the content drop. But look at the more rare cards. The further we go on into the year, the more out-of-pack special cards we're going to have, and that's going to create incredible opportunities to be trading with those players, because they fluctuate in price up and down all the time. And that's where you're going to make some of your best coins on this game, is with those fluctuation flips. Now, I'm kind of doing it right now, as I showed with the Messi and the Soboslai with impacts cards, which is a little more risky. But the out-of-packs cards, they're not supplied anymore, and that makes them usually some of my favorite cards to trade in this game. I'm going to watch that Messi right there, see if it sells. If it does, we'll take the profits. So that's kind of the situation on the market right now. I still like one certain investment in one certain part of the market, but we'll talk about that in just a bit. I want to get to the main talking point of today's video, though. Guys, that was this. Yesterday, EA surprised us with a feedback update. One of the things that they've done a really decent job with in FC26 so far is just conversating with us. You know, what used to be, where was EA's thoughts on this? What is EA doing right now to fix this, that, and the other? And this year we've had a lot of the EAFC Direct tweets, and most importantly, just news about the updates to this game, right? Even before that they get released. But this also brought us the most surprising content of the day because this is still unlike EA. It still feels a bit weird that EA is being this open with us. We like it. It's great, but it still feels a little bit weird. Now, I want to go through this really quickly because there is some gameplay stuff in here that started to impact the market yesterday and could impact the market a bit more. First of all, manual defending is getting stronger. Basically, what they're doing is they're improving jockeying responsiveness. This is for manual defending only. I was a bit worried about this because I was like, what if they improve just jockeying for even the CPU AI players? That would make, park the bus even worse, but it's not that. It is only for manual defending. That's what they said here. They're looking at empowering manual defending in this update. And guys, all of these updates that they're talking here are going to be planned for the end of October. So that's the first thing. And players with Jockey Plus, like Koundé, for example, started to go up in price a little bit on the market yesterday because of this. But this is still, once again, something that's not in the game right now, but it will be coming later this month. They also mentioned kickoffs. And as I'm still not really convinced with this kickoff scenario they're talking about here, for me, it's not that the defenders are being positioned incorrectly or something like that. It just feels like when I'm kicking off or defending a kickoff, I can defend really well and my opponent gets a opportunity to shoot the ball and it just goes in. Like, it feels like keepers don't work on kickoffs, or like shots have just extra precision when it's the first possession off of kickoff. I don't know if it's a positioning thing. That's just how I feel about it, but they are making some more changes in this next update. Positioning wise, they're making more aggressive man marking for your defensive side during the kickoff. So, I mean, we'll see if that makes any difference or not. If you combine that with maybe some buffed manual jockeying, then hopefully the kickoff goals will be toned down, because I do agree, like, that's how some of the scores get run up crazy high in these games, and the game does kind of feel repetitive in some ways, is that you just feel like you really have to take your chance and score off of kickoff, because that's one of your best chances to score every single game, to be completely honest. But those are the two main things. They, of course, mentioned the matchmaking here. There's some career mode stuff. And then also they talked about all their mistakes with Ultimate Team objectives, which have been really, really bad. And then PC optimization and dropped controller inputs. If you're on PC and had problems with that, that's something to look at right there. But this is the two sentences right here that really were shocking to me. It's right here, guys. Take a look at this. We also continue to see your feedback around evolutions and transfer market volatility. We'll share updates with you around this feedback and what we're doing next week, when we can go into more detail for you. So not only these topics, but also throughout the rest of this document, they mentioned that next week there was going to be a whole lot of news. So that's something that we're absolutely looking forward to. But the fact that they're actually going to address how bad EVOs have been, and how the transfer market is not really going how they were trying to make it go this year. Guys, remember in my interview with FutAccountant, he mentioned it, this is verbatim, if the result of this slower power curve is that the game becomes more pay to win, we have failed. He also mentioned multiple times about how if player prices or their goal this year was to not let player prices drop off as fast as they have in previous years. So you didn't feel like you had to sell your players super fast. And they, again, tied that in with the power curve because they wanted to make gold cards usable for longer, which I do believe in a sense that gold cards are usable longer this year because the power curve has slowed in terms of the upgrades we've seen on cards and stuff like that. But at the same time, the market has been more volatile than I think than ever. I mean, just look at what we see every single Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. The market nosedives 15 to 20% sometimes more, and then it recovers, what, 5%, maybe 10 if we're lucky during the next part of the week. And, you do the same thing next weekend and your cards just continue to drop in price week over week over week. So I am so curious, first of all, to see what they had to say about evolutions, because the evolutions have gotten a little bit better in the past couple of days, the last week. Backline Glow, Midfield Spark, and Born to Shine. I know they're all paid Evos. Last year, all the good Evos were paid anyway. But these are Evos that are actually usable for once. Most of them before this were not that great, just good for chains, right? And if you're building a full Evo 11, especially if you're a fan of the Eredivisie or the Portuguese League, you don't have any promo cards right now. EA has not been kind of diversifying into some of those lower leagues, which usually in previous years, the last 2 years, you were able to make Evo squads that were at least competitive, somewhat competitive, with the top 5 leagues and top nations of players that sell packs that EA constantly puts in packs, right? Like United, Bayern, City, Juventus, Chelsea, like PSG, all those big clubs, that's what's going to sell packs. But not having Evos up to the same level as previous years is making it more difficult to build some of those past and presents and stuff like that. I'm really curious to say what they're gonna, or hear what they're gonna say about that. And then again, with the transfer market volatility, I'm so curious, man. I mean, I'm so curious to hear what they're going to say, because there's been so much frustration with the market this year. The big market crash that we had last week, of course, that was very driven by the fact that people feel like there's not enough coins on this game. The rewards don't give enough coins, so they can't afford some of the players that they want. At least the SBCs have gotten a little bit cheaper and stuff like that in that term of things. But with every weekend prices crash reward, as we mentioned, prices crash with rewards. And not only that, but there's also been a lot of conversation and a lot of like the leaks. I think the leaks are starting to frustrate people because you see there's a lot of these groups that are making big time profits off of having that leaked information early. And information is always power. And guys, the leaks and making coins off of leaks, insider trading, basically what it is, has always been a thing in this game. And as long as there is leaks, it's always going to continue. But it's just a little frustrating when you see that sort of thing become so rampant this year. And, you know, add that onto the constant market frustrations that we have, and it just makes it even worse. So I'm not trying to just dog all Discords, because not all Discords are bad. I think a lot of people learn a lot of ways to succeed in this game through Discords and through Patreons. I mean, we're connected with the Footdonk and Weaver. Weaver's a good friend of the stream. We have a code down in the description if you think you would learn from more one-on-one type of stuff like that. Alongside of the YouTube videos here, we're constantly talking about the market. You can get use my code and link down in the description to get some deals going on there. Like, I'm going to shout that out, because I'm not just here to teach people to trade and talk about the market every day, just for like, not in a Discord type of way. Like, everybody learns differently, so I would love to present all the options to you guys for, like, if you learn better that way, if you want to go down that road and test that out versus just watching the videos here, or whatever, whoever else you watch for market news, whatever Twitter guys you follow for market news and information. Like, there's a lot of options out there, and I don't think all Discords are bad, but I mean, a lot of recently the news around them has been pretty bad, because when leakers flex on Twitter that they made millions of coins because they have leaks ahead of time, just remember that's not real trading. That's insider trading. So we don't do that around here, because I don't get leaks like those guys do, and I kind of like it that way. So that's just what I'm really curious about with this little update from EA here. Like, this was probably the biggest 2 sentences out of the entire update they posted yesterday. I just want to hear what they say, because they're allegedly going to address some of the biggest questions that we have about this game, and some of our biggest frustrations. They're going to address them head on. So I'm looking out for this later on this week, because that sounds very interesting and kind of still unlike EA to me in this new feedback era of FC26, I guess we can call it. Now, we got to talk about what's upcoming and what's next, because there is still that big SBC that is out there, the end of an era Busquets. And this was almost the title of the video today, because what EA posted and this leak about Busquets is crazy. Busquets end of an era will have icon chemistry. So this is an icon SBC, basically our first one of the year. That is unreal that they are going to give an end of an era icon chemistry, and the fact that it's Busquets. Like, you don't even need to buy Messi or Donovan or any of the MLS heroes or inform Jordi Alba. Bro's gonna be on full chem because he's icon chem, right? That means an icon always has full chemistry in their position, and they contribute extra league and nation chemistry, and actually extra league chemistry for every single person in the entire squad. Icon chem is insane. And they're giving it to this card, and maybe all the other end of an eras that are coming after this. Like, look, this tweet has 1 million views. That's how crazy, or almost 1 million. That's how crazy this is. So this is the biggest SBC that we're looking forward to right now. Of course, the Inter Miami links probably still are going to go up for this. just because they always will, and people want something to invest in. So if you bought Messi's yesterday on stream and we were looking at it and talking about it under 9,000 coins, it's looking pretty good for you. I still think even some of the MLS heroes can be traded with. Landon Donovan is 65K right now. He was 60K flat. He was actually 57 yesterday. So those cards could rise a bit. But the question is, when is this SBC? There's a lot of rumors about when this SBC may be, and also how much is it going to cost. Right now, some of the rumors are saying that this SBC may not be until later in the week, and that it might cost around 400,000 coins. So that's a bit of a hefty price to pay, but when you look at this card with a Tiki Taka Plus, and you look at the other playstyles that he has, and the fact that he's got icon chemistry, this SBC is going to end up being in a lot of people's teams. He is going to, especially as we get near Ultimate Scream, which Busquets had one of the most legendary Ultimate Scream cards in FIFA history a few years back. So that's the biggest SBC right now that we're looking forward to. And again, it doesn't look like it's going to be today, but I do think we can invest. And I think, guys, fodder is going to be a good place to go with this. Weekend League rewards have brought the fodder prices down. 86s are 6.5K. 87s are under 10,000 coins again, finally. And 88s are 12,000 coins. Even 85s are 3.6. I think if you want to invest in fodder this week, I would go 86, 7, and 8. I'd maybe go just a skosh higher than just the 85, 6s, and 7s from this last week. But I think all this fodder is great to get on bids anytime today on Saturday. And then on Sunday with squad battle rewards, great times to get in. Now, there are other SBCs that are leaked, but that Busquets is definitely the biggest one. And fodder in general is still staying a little bit inflated because we have the hero pack that is out. It's going to refresh on Wednesday. We're still a few days away from that. Of course, this last week is when it went up a little bit. 87s were 11K. Now they're 9.7 again. So at the very least, you should hopefully have the 87s jump back up to about 11,000 coins later in the week. So try to get them on the low to mid 9K range. Again, 86s, low to mid 6s, and the 88s under 12 would be fantastic there, because that SBC for Busquets and what else is upcoming looks really, really good. Now, what's realistic content for today on Saturday is this: the Calafiori and Dean Heisen player pick SBC. And the first thing we got to say about this is, if we get this today, then you got to be really careful with center backs. These are official stats. Once again, we looked at this leak a couple of days ago when it was first released. And, right now there are a couple of player SBCs that we'll hover over quickly and just talk about that could be here today instead of this. But this one, like, EA, this would be a really good one for today. I can't lie. But it would definitely cook center back prices. So a guy like Cuti Romero or other Premier League center backs that you maybe would have, even the La Liga center backs, I'd be very careful with because people are probably going to be interested in doing this SBC, because that's two of the biggest young center backs right now in football, playing for two absolutely massive clubs. And those stats look pretty good. We're going to have to see the play styles, but Calafiori from those stats looks very good. So watch maybe a few Arsenal links. Not that, an Arsenal card is going to make Arsenal links go up that much. Maybe Dean Heisen will make some Madrid links move a little bit. I actually saw my transfer list. I picked up a couple of Thibaut Courtois, not because I think Dean Heisen will make him go up a ton, but more so because Courtois dropped a lot from yesterday. Oh, no way. Is he back to 50K? I was literally just buying him for 40. How much is this guy? He was literally just 47,000 coins. I was getting him on bid for 47K. Now he's 53. So I guess that was a good decision that we bought him there. So that's looking good. But I do think maybe a couple of the Madrid links could move if that SBC were to be today. Now, if it's not this player pick, it could also be this Jack Grealish. But I think Jack Grealish maybe a couple days from now. We also have a Santi Jimenez who has been leaked as an SBC/objective card as well. Milan links. I don't know if Rafa Leao would really go up for those stats on that card, but we'll have to see if anything moves because of that. So those are the SBCs that are leaked right now. I really hope it is the center back player pick today. Other content today on Sunday, maybe a evolution once again. Nothing super crazy. Are there any evos expiring today? I always try to check that in too. Sideline Rise expires in 1 day. That's the Max 74 Silver Evolution that's going to be expiring soon there. And then in rewards, maybe there's a couple things that are expiring, maybe not. We saw yesterday there was 2 days. What is it? It's attacking wingback plus expires in a couple days. And I guess that's it. So I'm not expecting a lot of content today on Saturday, but if that center back player pick does come out, that will be pretty crazy. Last thing to discuss in today's video. I know we've been yapping about a lot. Last thing is tomorrow. Get those silver teams ready once again, because the World Tour Silver Superstars League, this is the silver event, guys. This is the one that is limited number of games. It is a league, okay? It's very competitive, but all you have to do is play 18. Play a team. You don't even have to win a single one, and you get a guaranteed England Cornerstones Ratings Reload Base Hero Pack. That's a real deal right there. So just playing this league is going to be good. Even if you only end up winning 5, you get a couple of extra packs along the way for playing 10, play 15, play 5. There's some player picks, a 1 of 3 81 plus England player pick in there as well. So this is going to be very hype, but you're going to have at least one of those World Tour Silver Superstars icons from objectives, and then you're going to have the rest of the team being silvers. So get those silver squads ready once again. The last thing to mention with silvers would be, I think the silver upgrade pack that gives out tradable silvers is going to refresh today. Also, the 83 times 2 is going to refresh today as well. So you'll have both of these SBCs coming back, and you could get some tradable supply in for silvers, which could create one last good opportunity to stock your club before that big silver tournament is popping once again. So I'm going to trade up and sell up on a couple of these cards that I had picked up. There was the Messi sold for 1.22. So we'll hopefully try to sell the Messi today for 1.3. That was just honestly a quick flip. And that was about it from that. And I do have a couple other Soboslides that I bought for 160. And we'll sell those early today and not hold on to them for super duper long. But that's the video for me, guys, today. Good luck on your weekend league. My weekend league yesterday started pathetic. It was awful, but hopefully today we can rescue it and make some coins along with that. I appreciate you guys watching the videos. It's great to be back. Thank you for all the well wishes on the last 2 videos, wishing me a good little time away. But we are back, fully locked in, and I will see you guys in another video tomorrow. Have a great Saturday. Enjoy that club footy is back. It's been TheFutAccountant, guys. Have a great Saturday. Peace out.